It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Gotta put my camera up. Hey, okay. Just got back from the weekend. There's a lot going on, guys, and this has been intense, but 90 days back. I can't even forget my ring light. What is going on today? Ha! We're in business. Okay. All right, guys. You know I can't do these 90 days or anything else by myself on the lives because I like to open up the conversation. I don't want to just talk about the episode and give you a regurgitated recap. I want to hear other opinions. So if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. I'll be over here getting my shit together, and let's bring up Kempire. Hey, Kempire.
Good morning. How are you?
Recovering.
Well, that's good. You needed a break.
Yeah, it was nice, but for anybody, while you guys are coming in, again, let's fill up the room, but I went to Miami over the weekend, and I took 2 days off of YouTube, which kind of gave me anxiety, I'm not going to lie, but it was good. It was a much-needed little break.
Yeah, and you need a break. I mean, I have to remind myself of that all the time.
I know, when you go to New Amsterdam, you have to take some time for yourself, too.
I love how you said New Amsterdam. It is just Amsterdam.
Oh, well, Amsterdam. I'm tired. I'm waking up. I thought you called it New Amsterdam.
No, hell no.
Oh, okay.
It's just Amsterdam.
Jason's laughing at me in the corner. I'm waking up.
Oh my God. Speaking
Whatever.
of Jason, I have so many questions for Jason, especially with this new character on 90 Day. I'm like, okay, I need to look, we understand the Mormon religion a little bit from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but Steven, he's going to give us TV gold, I think. Yeah,
we're going to have to talk about this. I have to say, I'm already loving this new season more than I did Happily Ever After. I think it's always fun to see the other way. And, you know, this with having some of the old couples now blending in some new couples, I'm like, all right, I'm here for it. And I think I'm here the most for the Ariela and Biniyam story because I'm like, this shit is about to get really awkward. And we're going to jump into that. But if you want to, I say let's start with Steven because this is an interesting little character.
Aww.
Yeah. Steven, he's a Mormon, right? So he's a devout Mormon. And then he's also with this girl. I believe her name is Alina. She's Russian. He met her on his mission. And when we went to Salt Lake City, Jason and I went back in July for his family reunion. And we toured a bunch of the different places. I don't want to call them the wrong thing. It's still early for me. It's 9:30 over here, guys. Bear with me. But I found out that when Mormons get their missions, it's something that's given to you. So it's not you. Like I was asking Jason and his sister, I'm like, okay, so if I wanted like an exotic mission and to go somewhere with a beach, can I get that? And they're like, no, that's not how this works. Like you could end up in Utah, you could end up in Colombia, you can end up in Russia. It's whatever is your calling. That's how you get sent on this mission. And for Steven, he ended up going to Russia, and that's where he met his girlfriend.
Did Jason ever have to go on a mission? And where did he go?
Jason actually didn't end up going on a mission because he joined Cirque du Soleil at a super young age and he started touring. So he didn't, but his brother did. His brother went to California, Riverside. So everyone goes somewhere different, I guess. And then when you go, you get like assigned. Oh my gosh, Jason's going to kill me because I don't know the right terms, but you get kind of assigned this partner, this buddy that goes with you. And you guys, you know, on your mission, you're reading the Book of Mormon every day, reading your scriptures, but also trying to share that with other people in that community. Yep. And missions are long.
I remember seeing members of that church around my neighborhood. I haven't seen them since, but they were here for probably like a year or so. And I was like, oh. And like you said, they were always in a pair. And I was like, okay. They never tried to convert me, though.
No. Well, even when we went to Utah, I kept on saying to Jason, because when we were touring, you right now can't go in the temple yet, but eventually you can, just for a short period of time if you're not Mormon. I believe it's called open house or something like that. And you can actually see the inside of the temple, which I saw photos. It's beautiful, like stunning, this temple. And when we were walking around, there were so many different pairs on each floor. And we saw where like the tabernacle choir is, and it's just like their buildings and facilities are stunning. And on each floor, the pair tries to ask you, do you know anything about this? Do you know what this is? And they just walk up to you and they're super smiley. And I asked Jason, I'm like, why the hell is everyone smiling at you? And he's like, because they're nice. They're nice. They're smiling at you. They're like trying to be genuinely nice. I'm like, Florida, we're weird.
No, New York too, because I like those people that I saw in my neighborhood, those guys that I saw in my neighborhood, they stood out. First of all, they looked very friendly. They were dressed up in button downs, and they were dressed up. So it was sort of like, and they were matching. So you stood out.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay. But like I said, they never tried to convert me.
No, well, see, I don't think it's as aggressive with trying to convert you as some other religions. I think it's just more so just sharing their faith, and if you're interested, then they give you more information. I don't think it's more like become a Mormon.
Can you tell that I kind of wanted them to convert me?
Well, there's still time, Kempire. There's still time.
Well, I had other motives, but anyway.
Gosh. All right. Well, with this guy Steven, I'm interested to see how this works, because he's claiming that he needs her, Alina, to convert to being Mormon, or else this relationship is not going to work. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, because we can already tell that her and her family, they feel like the Mormon religion, that it is sort of like this cult. And she wasn't even comfortable meeting him for the first time until, unless her family was there. She wanted to meet him with her family, and her family they're skeptical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you heard his joke. He was like, I don't get it. I mean, if I'm going to kidnap one person, we can kidnap two.
I know. I'm like, he's kind of a little strange to me. Like I told you before we got on here, him like getting up from the table and having to go use the restroom in his pants, and then like,
come on, that's not what he did.
Okay, well, that's what it felt like. I'm like, you grubby, dirty little hamster.
I wish more people would do that, though. Step away.
You're on camera. Just know you're on camera, you little quirky thing.
I love him, though. I love the fact that he is just so quirky is a great word for him.
Yeah.
I think he's great reality TV, and especially after the 2 iterations of 90 Day that we've watched and reviewed here. This was such a welcomed breath of fresh air.
Yeah, because it's not, we've seen a lot of aggressive on 90 Day, and this is more quirky, kind of balances and counteracts the amount of aggressive behavior we've seen over the past couple of months. You know what I mean? Like this is, like you said, it's sort of a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I enjoyed Steven so much. Steven with a V. I'm looking forward to what he's going to bring this season. But so far, just in the very first episode, I'm like, this kid is amazing.
Okay, we'll keep him around. Yeah. Now, there's also another couple. I want to keep it moving. I believe it's Corey and Evelyn, correct?
No, who is that?
Yes,
that's not them.
Oh my God, this is them. That's Tim and Melissa. They look the same to me.
However,
do these two guys not look the same?
A little bit. He's a little bit more doofy.
Okay. Well, Corey and Evelyn. Well, Corey ended up taking a month and went to Peru, and he met this new girl, and now he wants to come back, and he's realized, I want to marry Evelyn. Now, Evelyn obviously said that that's not something she wants to do with her life. She's not the marriage type, and she's never been. She's always said her whole life, I'm not going to get married. I don't need to get married. But for you, if that's what you want, because I love you so much, I will get married. This is one of those things that I'm looking at her and I'm like, girl, don't do it. If you already have that mindset and you think that you don't want to get married, don't do it. Especially if your family's going to tie you into that bond for the rest of your life, and in your culture, you can't get a divorce. Don't do it.
I thought of you and Jason when I was watching them and watching them talk about it. I did.
Okay, shady as hell.
I really did. I did think of you guys. I was like, I wonder if that's how Adam feels.
No. I mean, in America, like my family gets divorced for a sport, so I know there's an option out of it if I needed to get out of it. For her, she's like, I can't. If I'm married, I'm married.
But, and it wasn't that part that made me think of you guys. It's just her whole perspective on marriage. I wonder where that comes from. Obviously, it doesn't come from her parents because her parents have been together. So I'm interested to dig a little bit deeper into why she feels that way. But do you think that she should actually get married if it really goes against what she believes for herself?
No, but I also wonder then if she doesn't get married because it goes against what, she believes for herself, can he stay in the country? That's like my biggest thing, because we know that's kind of how it works. If you want to stay in a foreign country, there's a few options that you have, but one of the easiest ways is to, marry the person that you want to stay with. And I'm wondering if that's kind of playing into this as well. But I hate that for anyone who's on the K-1 visa or traveling, going the other way, because it just rushes you. And we've seen so many couples like Mike and Natalie where they needed a lot more time to figure out that relationship. And if you were two people from the same country, you would have known, because you would have had the time, that maybe this isn't the relationship for me. So you would have just boot, scoot, and boogied and got the hell out of there and not tied yourself down. Yep. That's the South coming out.
I was about to say, I was like, woo, I never heard that before.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There are ways around it. Like you said, there are multiple different options. Every country's different, but I believe, because she's in Colombia, right? There are a variety of ways. And I think one of the things that he did last time to stay in the country was to leave the country briefly and then come right back. I mean, there are ways around it. I think the pandemic makes it harder because the borders are closed, but I think he could have went to Brazil and he would have been fine too.
Well, I mean, he went to Peru and he got himself Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot more that's going on here. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. And don't worry, we're going to get our names and everything down. We just met these couples, some of them we already know, but obviously they weren't important enough, or like they didn't make as big of an impact, because I thought Corey was Tim, which he's not. I think Tim might be a little bit more goofy than Corey, but Corey's goofy himself. He's a little strange.
Well, Tim actually has some anger management issues. I'm sure you didn't see the Discovery Plus 90 Bears All interview with him. I mean, this was before they got engaged and they're back together now. But he's got some scary tendencies. So I'm kind of glad not to see him. But I'm not too sure about Corey either, because, based on the sister doesn't trust him.
Right.
So
and when your family starts speaking up on, sometimes your family can just be annoying, right? So they feel like they get to sound off on your relationship when really it's none of your business. Like I have brothers and sisters who, thank goodness, like they don't ever chime in on my relationship. And I like Dr. Wendy Osefo, I have a lot in the vault, so I will fire shots at your relationship. So stay the hell away from mine. And for this family, you can tell the sister's like, no, something's not right here. I don't trust this guy. What are you doing? And I think it's important. And Evelyn reminds me of Melissa too, because they're both they're sassy. They're sassy and they're just like, I don't want to be in America. They both came to the same, decision. Like, I don't want to be in America. If you want to be with me, you need to come here. And they're strong, independent women. I guess that's the best way to put it. They're strong.
I think Melissa had different reasons for not wanting to be in the country. Remember,
Tim cheated.
Yeah, he cheated.
Yeah, but so did Corey. Corey just cheated.
Well, were they together?
Listen, even if you're on a break and you plan on going back and figuring it out, I don't know. I'm still like, you're a little cheater.
Oh, damn.
Steven is a dirty little hamster and Corey is a little cheater.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what his secret is. They always have some sort of secret. I'm kind of feeling like Corey's secret is like, oh, I did sleep with her. Okay, Corey, we know.
Yeah. I feel like, this isn't a buildup that we're not going, like we expect this. If anything, I'm more in suspense with other relationships, like Ariela bringing in her ex-husband that she claims that she loves so much. And he's, becoming a doctor, and they separated because she wanted to travel and he wanted to stay in America. That doesn't seem like it was this real tumultuous relationship that had a huge reason to break up. Mm-hmm. It just seems like, their paths were kind of going in different directions. And sometimes couples do that for a couple of years and then they get back together. My mom and my stepdad ended up getting a divorce, and then they were, away from each other for 4 or 5 years. And then they ended up getting remarried.
What?
Yeah. So shit happens.
Are they still together?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, no. He passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, she has a new husband, but
okay,
that's not the point here. Okay. And even Jason's grandma was married her whole life. And then all of a sudden, when her husband passed, when Jason's grandpa passed a few years ago, she ended up going to a funeral where she met her ex-boyfriend from high school, and then they got remarried. So it's like people do come back together. There's certain moments in time where you kind of drift apart, and then look, here we are.
I don't want to drift to any of my exes, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all
we
right.
can give that old cliche saying an ex is an example of the kind of person that you don't want to be with.
Not always, as you just clearly stated. Not always, but for me, definitely. Let's not revisit the past.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave them alone right now. Corey and Evelyn, do you think they're getting married or no?
I don't think so. I think we're going to have a big lead up to a wedding, and I don't think they're going to necessarily get married. I think they're going to break up. I'm actually shocked that they're still together.
I'm shocked that they're still together too. And I believe he was the one who funded that bar, right?
Yes. Yeah. I believe he did. So I think that's also another reason why this relationship has lasted as long as it has lasted. But I always feel, every time I see this couple, I feel like she hates him. Why is she with him?
I always get that vibe. I'm like, you don't even like this guy. Why are we keeping him around? Is it the fame that comes with it from 90 Day? Because maybe in her country, that's a big deal. I mean, in America, if you see somebody from 90 Day, like when I first moved to LA and I would see a celebrity, I would be like, hey, can I just grab a photo with you? My family is never going to believe this. And now when I see people, I'm just like, oh, hey, like, I'm like, guess who was at Publix today? And then when I was in downtown West Palm at one point and I saw Brittany, remember from 90 Day, the one who lives in Palm Beach?
Yes.
And I'm like, you can
problematic Brittany from everywhere.
You can keep problematic Brittany. I don't even need to. I remember my friend Melissa was like, oh, if she's on 90 Day, do you want to grab a photo? I'm like, no. Hell no. I don't want to grab a photo. I don't care.
I can't believe this is only season 3 of The Other Way. I felt like there would be more seasons, but this is a stellar season. If we had to deal with crappy seasons of Happily Ever After and 90 Day, I'm so happy with The Other Way. And it could be just because I love to travel. We're going to these other countries, but I feel like the couples are really, really good.
And I think it's interesting too, because I've had throughout the other Way seasons, I've had callers come in and they've been very vocal about the fact that they don't appreciate how the network makes their countries look or their cultures look. And I was even talking to Jason yesterday when we were watching this, and he said, I feel like they're going to make the whole Mormon community look like a cult. Like I can see this already not looking good, and that's not fair. That's not how it necessarily should be portrayed. And I was like, oh, so this is real. This is really how.
It's true, because I know when I've traveled to other countries, because not just the Mormon religion, but also like Jehovah's Witnesses. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. And when I visited France, my friend was telling me how they view that religion there. So that's why it's really worth it for people to go and travel, because you would have such a different perspective on the freedoms that you have here in America, but also some other good things that about outside the country. But yeah, certain religions are viewed very differently outside of America.
That's why you're going to New Amsterdam.
That's what you're going to call it going forward.
If you're going to call it Brashaw, yes, that's what we're going to call it moving forward.
Someone was very offended by me calling her Brashaw.
Wow.
Very offended. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's keep it moving, because there's one couple that, again, I made the thumbnail after them, and I'm so interested in this relationship because I really thought that they weren't going to make it, and she's still in Ethiopia, right?
Yes. I'm actually surprised.
Ariela and Biniyam. And she's bringing her ex-husband, which they're a cute couple. I mean, she's a cute couple with Biniyam as well, but like she said, I still love him. This is my best friend. When you were fighting with me all the time, you have a strobe light going on in there?
No, hold on 1 second. Huh. This thing's light is acting crazy.
Guys, while Kempire's fixing his paranormal activity in the background, make sure you guys go smash that like button, and let's get 200 in the room. All right.
Yes. So, look, I think it's early for people. They weren't used to us coming this. Oh, Lord have mercy, that picture.
Yeah. No, I like Ariela. And,
is that her name?
Yeah.
Is it Ariela or Ariel? I don't remember now.
It's Ariela. Oh. If I'm butchering that too, I need to go back to sleep.
I know, and I'm making you do this so early, so I appreciate you doing it.
Ariela and Biniyam, with her going back to New Jersey when she was pregnant, we just got the bomb dropped in this episode, which his sisters are so shady, because you had this information and you waited until they were filming to drop it, and knowing that he was showing up. But Ariela and Biniyam, when she was pregnant, 4 months pregnant, she went back to New Jersey, and then she ended up letting her ex-husband stay in the house with her. Now, for him, like he said, in his culture, we don't do that. We don't bring exes into the house. And his sister even said, this is some white people shit. I was like, well, actually, just to be fair, my mom ended up moving in with my dad and my stepmom and us at one point too. So there's like, we've had, we all take vacations together, like exes. I don't think that we view it that same way. Like if Jason's ex came knocking on our door, I'd be like, no, you're not coming in my house. But I'm different. I'm not that emotionally mature yet to endure something like that. But Ariela seems to think there's no problem with it. I don't think it's necessarily an American thing. I think it's a confidence thing and just knowing that relationship's over and we can still be friends. It's almost mature, but this feels like a little off to me.
It feels off, especially when she had that FaceTime with him. The way she was looking at him. And remember, she was married to him for 10 years. And like you said, they didn't break up because he cheated or there was some really bad thing that happened. They just sort of grew apart, but they remained friends, best friends. She kept on saying that like she's trying to convince herself.
Yeah. No, and even her facial expressions when she's talking about him, I can see why Biniyam would be concerned. And honestly, I wouldn't even put this guy in the line of fire for Biniyam because Biniyam is that macho man who has, a little bit of an ego. He wants to be the provider and the main man of the house and And, this other guy seems very timid, just like relaxed, kind of maybe a little bit nerdy. I don't know if this is a good match. I don't know why she's doing this.
Well, we get to see them fight. Like, I guess they're play fighting. I don't know.
Yeah, but Biniyam's about to really take out some aggression on.
But even when Biniyam is being aggressive, when he speaks in his language, it sounds so cool. And just so calm, but at the same time, he's like, I'm going to F you up.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. I really like him. I don't understand, and we're going to jump into this other couple next, like Ellie. I don't understand leaving your whole life unless the only reason I could come up with is you really, truly love someone, so you're willing to give up everything that you know. Because remember, she grew up in a very privileged home where her parents are doctors, right? So she grew up in this life where she had whatever she wanted, and then she kind of gave that up to move to Ethiopia, right? And she's living at one point in a house with no refrigerator. The walls were barely up. She changed everything to be with this man. I don't get, like, if I loved you, I would love you from afar because I'm not doing that.
I'm actually surprised that they're still together.
I'm surprised that they're still together. I think it's because of the baby.
And the pandemic.
Well, and because she was fighting with him for so long. And when she was fighting, she even explained, I would get on the phone with my ex-husband when we were fighting and you weren't there for me because even though you're not working at the club anymore, you're disappearing at night. Where are you going? I would be, no way in hell would you be disappearing at night. No.
In a pandemic.
In a pandemic. Where are you going in a pandemic? And then even so, I would be thinking in my head, you're not disappearing because you're not going to go out there and hang out with people during a global pandemic and then bring those germs back in around my baby. So I would have multiple concerns.
Well, even with that being said, it feels as if she has such a better relationship with her ex. When she looks at him, I'm like, oh, she's in love with him. But when she looks at Biniyam, I'm like, I don't feel the love.
Yeah. And somebody just asked in here too, where is it? Susie Gross, do any of these guys have steady income? Biniyam being just a dancer can't be enough for the family. Well, they also said in this episode that, her family still has to help provide for them. And that's why she's able to have, kind of like a live-in nanny, and they're able to live in this house that they live in now. But no, he's not technically providing. And I'm sure she's doing from TLC in 90 Day. I'm sure she has Cameo and probably a few like social media, like this is my FabFitFun box, stuff like that, where she's getting a little bit of money here and there. And I bet you it stretches further
it goes
over
a long way in Ethiopia. So that helps as well. And it's common. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they have help, but it's very common, even in Jamaica, for you to have a helper. And that's how they refer. I'm not being Ramona. That's what they refer to them as in Jamaica. My parents grew up with helpers in their home. I mean, I feel like I was, left out without having a helper growing up.
No, I was the helper in the home. I was the helper. But hey, listen, if you can pull it off. And also it looks like Ariela not only needs her for, to help out with the baby, it looks like she has made this organic friendship, like relationship with someone who she still needs someone to talk to. Like his sisters clearly don't like her. They think that they don't understand her motives. And I think that they think, their cultures, it doesn't really add up. And the sisters are very skeptical. So I believe that would leave her in a lonely position.
Yeah. I think she does have a relationship with the sisters, especially she's divulging things to I forgot the other sister's name, but she's divulging. I think she does have a relationship with them. Is it the best relationship? Not necessarily, but of course she's going to have a better relationship with this woman that's living in her home, helping out with the baby. And I'm actually happy for Ariel, just because it is hard if you're moving your entire life to a whole other country, a whole other culture. I'm glad that she has someone that can help her, not only just with the baby, but also transition her into the culture as well. I'm sure that's been such a great help to her.
And I like when she asked her, is it weird, that I'm bringing my ex here? And she's like, oh yeah, that shit does not fly here. Like, we don't do that in Ethiopia.
That doesn't fly here.
I mean, yeah, like I said. All right, so let's move this on. We have Ellie and Victor. I'm doing good with names now, guys. It's not.
You're doing better than me, because I'm like, who in the hell's Ellie and Victor?
I'm waking up. Ellie and Victor. So Victor lives in Colombia and Ellie lives in Seattle. She is known as the Pizza Woman, and she is about to give up her whole life. Her story actually was really sad because her husband passed away on an accidental overdose, and just watching it was touching. It's terrible. It's tragic. And now she's getting with this man. She's leaving her whole life to go move with him, leaving everything behind after just finding out 7 months prior that he had a relationship with someone else. And then he tells her, you little liar, he tells her that this woman that he was having an affair with, made him do it.
Well, remember, he didn't tell her. She first found out because she got a message from the woman. Then he was like blaming the other woman.
No, I'm with her friend. I wouldn't be picking up my life and moving over. I'd be like, you need to show me. And how can you? Like, it's one of those situations. Like, how can he show you that he's committing, because you don't know what that person's doing over there? That's like Angela's issue with Michael. She never knows when Michael doesn't answer the phone on the first ring. She's like, no, Michael, you're sneaking around. He's like, I just went to church. I'm not doing anything. He's like, I'm at a family.
I did not go to church. That liar.
I mean, but this guy, like, I can't believe she, Jason said, is she really giving up her whole pizza business? Right? I don't think so.
I hope not.
I hope not too.
That wouldn't be smart. But I have to say, the way that they opened this episode with her, and just the whole editing of this season was so dramatic, and just, it was entertaining to watch. 90 Day. Thank you.
Finally.
Finally.
Do you think this relationship, and we've already seen a few scenes that are coming up in the season, do you think this relationship is going to be one that lasts, or do you think she's going to get there and be like, what the hell did I just do?
I actually do like her. I don't know anything about her so far, but just knowing her story, she seems very authentic. And it's hard to get on these reality shows, but I feel for her, especially with what she's been through. Unfortunately, she's moving, not only because she's moving to the small island where he's from, Providencia. I've never even heard of Providencia before. There are always stereotypes about Caribbean men. I can say it because I have Jamaican roots. But
what is the stereotype?
The stereotype is that, they're never loyal. They always cheat. Look, it is what it is. But I just hate that's the stereotype that we're dealing with here again. You know what I mean? We've seen this before on the show, and it's just like, why did he have to cheat on her? Why couldn't this be an actual loving relationship? I don't want her to give up her pizza business and her life to move to Providencia. But for us to talk about and watch and be entertained, thank you.
Yeah, we'll take that. Thank you. But, at the end of the day, like, I'm such a sucker, and I think it's because I'm a Cancer. I'm super emotional, and I'm like watching this and watching her tear up, and I'm like sitting there tearing up with her, and Jason's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I just love. I just want her to win. And he's like, okay, enough of that. Where's Potomac? Because you don't cry when we watch Potomac. I'm like, okay, you're not changing shit. Okay.
No, I think what you're reading from her is the authenticity, and I'm glad they
loved.
Yeah, and I'm glad they opened up with her, because I was like, from the minute they opened up with her, I was like, yes, this is what we've needed so far this season, and I love it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm rooting for her, but there's one couple that I'm ready for them to come to an end. I'm over it already. I've been over it for a long time. I don't like this man. I feel like he's a user. I feel like he's a liar. I feel like he manipulates Jenny and Sumit. He's been lying to her since day one when he catfished her. Then he's having her come out not one time, not 2 times, not 3 times, but 4 times now. She's been back out to India. Every time he's promising her that he's going to marry her, knowing damn well that he can't marry her because their life could be in danger because of how his family will react. So then he's leading her on, but she's leaving her whole family behind, leaving everything that she knows. And like she said in this episode, she's practically ruining her life.
Yeah. Oof.
For love.
For love. But remember, this is a 10-year relationship. 10 years. Like I have gone up and down with Jenny and Sumit, but I'm always reminded that they have to love each other to be going through all the drama that they've gone through.
I think that she funds his life in some.
Oh,
I do. I think that he uses her.
that's
And
a
by the
sugar
way,
mama?
wait, kind of. And I think, by the way, when she was like, I got catfished and I was told that I was talking to so-and-so, which looks like a model like out of a GQ magazine. And then she's like, but then I got my Sumit. I'm like, and she's like, but he is so much more handsome.
I said BS.
I'm like, Jenny, you're reaching right now. You're reaching. You just want that marriage certificate. You want to stay in India. And how do you not have a passport? I mean, a lot of people don't have a passport, but you let your in-laws take your passport away?
But remember, maybe they did that because he was still married to the woman while he was dating Jenny. And maybe they were trying to use that because they thought he was going to try and escape.
Well, and also he had to pay a certain amount of money to get out of that relationship because like they were explaining in India, once a woman has already been married, then it's almost like there's this stamp on her and she's not as much of an eligible bachelorette moving forward because she's already been married to another man.
And they probably were scared that he was going to leave the country without doing what he needed to do.
Okay, so that makes more sense. So, but talking with the travel agent, and one of the dumbest questions I've ever heard is there another country we can leave out of India to and go to without a passport?
No, I don't think that was a dumb question. And I know why
you
thought it was dumb.
What country can you go to without a passport?
I know you thought that was done, but in the EU, you can travel from country to country without your passport.
So it's dumb of me to think that that's dumb?
I don't think it's dumb of you, because here in the States, we can't do that. And if we're going to any other country, we need our passport.
Right. No, I thought that okay.
Not necessarily. Depends on the relationship, because you can go from India to Nepal without your passport, but Nepal was closed.
Stop confirming what Kempire is saying in there.
What are they saying?
He's like, duh.
No, it's not duh. If you don't travel, if you're not into stuff like that, you wouldn't know. I understand, especially coming from America, we can't. We literally cannot leave the country without our passport.
Yeah, but I guess that makes sense if you're going like in the EU. I guess the best way I would compare that, trying to understand where you're coming from, would be like in the United States, we can travel from state to state, but we can't actually go, you know what I mean? Even though they're not states, they're okay. All right, I'm not going to make myself sound more ignorant. Let's keep it moving. Jenny and Sumit, she finds out that, she's had 3 extensions on her visa, and now this next extension, it's not going to happen. So her only choice is, at this point, you go to another country for 6 months, you live there on your own, and then you can get back into India, maybe if or when the borders open up, or you go back to America. And you can tell this is a very real scene, which I like seeing because we've had so many pre-produced scenes where she just gets so pissed and she's screaming in his face. She throws the chair, she slams the door, she says, I'm booking my ticket. And I'm like, Jenny, we've been waiting for you to book your ticket for a long time.
She blew up like that before the last season. So I was like, we're seeing a more angry side to her, but I get her frustration.
She feels like she's being played and used. And then she has to go back, and her daughter who's in the relationship. Remember, she has a daughter who's also in a relationship with another woman. And they are very on Jenny's side. They're always like kind of protective of her, and she has to go back and get another I told you so, which has to be frustrating for Jenny because she's looking at this like, I'm on a national platform, I'm being played out on TV, you're making me look like a fool, and really all she wants to do is be married to this man, but he can't make that happen. But the problem is, my only problem with him here is you keep lying and saying that you can make it happen when you know that you're not actually going to marry her. So why are you wasting her time?
I think they actually do have, the cameras only show us these parts of their relationship. But remember, this was a pandemic and they were together around the clock. I really believe that they have a solid relationship. I think really what he's dealing with is the family pressure. I believe we have to remember this is very cultural for him. So it's very easy for us to be like, just marry her. But I think, especially when his mother said, if this happens, we will die. we don't know the depths of what that means for his culture, for his family. So
Right.
I'm trying not to be judgmental of Sumit, but I do like Sumit is not trustworthy because he's lied so many times.
But we don't understand what that means and know what that means, but he knows what that means because he grew up in that culture. So you know exactly what you are going. He knows in his mind whether or not he's going to be able to make this work or not, and he keeps on trying to dance around the whole topic of marriage in order to prolong the inevitable. Because at the end of the day, if you're not going to marry this person, like, thank gosh Jason's American, because or else he would have been deported by now. You know, like,
you hear that, Jason?
Jason's in the other room, like, I'm going to strangle you when you get off of this. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, he knows she might not fully understand it, which, okay, we'll give you a pass. It's not your culture. You weren't born and raised in India. So she's kind of learning as she goes, and a lot of respect to her for being able to do so. She's learning the language and the culture, and she's really trying to immerse herself into that lifestyle. Yeah. But he knows the repercussions of what he's doing, of, you know, committing infidelity, leaving his other marriage, and what happens if he does truly marry her. And he's not being honest about it. And it just goes to show, like, he has not been honest from day one.
But remember, even in this particular scene, he says to her, like, you don't understand. I understand. There's just more here than you even know. And I get what he's trying to say, but I also get where Jenny's coming from. I get where, you know, her frustration is coming from. And I also get her fear. She's like, I don't want to be in this foreign country illegally. And I can't go back home because when I go back home, I have no home. I actually have to probably go stay with my daughter. And that's not going to be a comfortable situation or another I told you so.
Okay. I agree with that. I agree with that. All right. So now I want to ask you this. For all of the couples that we've had on before, now we have these couples back. Oh, well, that's Tim and Maylise in the corner, but we have these three couples, Kenneth and Armando, Sumit and Jenny, Ariela and Biniyam. If you had to guess out of the couples, the former couples that we had, and Corey and Evelyn, and the new couples, who do you think is going to stay together and who do you think will end up falling apart?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I definitely think Jenny and Sumit, they've been through so much, including a pandemic. So I do think that they are going to survive. She will stay with him, especially, I'm sure they will figure out something for her to stay in the country a little bit longer, but he's not going to marry her.
Still prolonging the inevitable.
I definitely think she will stay with him, even if she doesn't get married. Honestly, I do think she will.
I'm gonna pay for therapy.
I don't think that Tim and Evelyn?
Corey and Evelyn.
Oh,
what do you
mean? Tim. I'm mixing up all the names.
They look alike. They do look alike. Tim and Corey look alike, and I kind of feel like Evelyn and Melissa resemble each other a little bit too. So it's easy to do. I did it this morning. It's fine.
Well, I think she hates him, so I don't think that relationship is going to work out. I think there's ulterior motives for the reason why they're still together. I don't know.
But what does he have to gain?
I don't know. Maybe he wants to leave his family, live in a foreign country. You know, some people just want to live abroad. I might do it too. Don't be surprised if I get engaged.
Okay.
I want that EU passport. Watch out.
I'm red fogging you. I'm gonna send your name in. And be like, look, he's going there for the wrong reasons.
It's all right. No, I'm joking. Okay.
Now watch, you'll actually meet somebody, want to get married and move to the EU. It's great.
I mean, I wouldn't be against it. But I wouldn't do it just for the passport.
Right.
I wouldn't do it just for that. I need to be in love. But with that being said, I want, was it Ellie?
Yeah.
And I want it to work out for her, but I just don't
Victor.
think it's going to. I think she needs to stay in Washington and find someone there.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to end up seeing her on The Single Life.
Oh!
I do, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like I said earlier, I'm rooting for her, especially after the tragedy that happened with her, husband, and now she's a widow. I think it's terrible, and you could tell she's really just willing to dive in because she craves that. She wants to be in that loving relationship again, and like she told her friend, I'm willing to do whatever to see if this is going to work. I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I especially because he's cheated on you already, and it's like
red flag.
And I think part of the reason why she's going is so she can sort of, I'm here and he's not going to do it. Girl, he will find ways around it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's That's his country and his culture. He can easily tell you, like, I'm going to go play football with the boys. And, this is something that I do. You have to give me my space. You can't just be like all in my business. That's not what I signed up for. So she's like, okay, go play football. But then he's like, ring, ring. Hey, girl.
It's probably the same girl.
It's the same girl. And then she's going to show up with receipts again. And then it's this relationship.
It's great for us.
I'm not. Tara said harsh but true, Adam. Yeah, definitely Ellie on the single life. I agree.
I like Ellie, though. I like her so far. Like I said, the way that they produced this episode was brilliant. I'm sure it's a different production company because you can just tell the difference on the way that they're telling these stories. They're doing a good job. So kudos to this production team.
Yeah, I like this production team. And then also, don't forget Steven and Alina.
Oh, Steven. Steven is gold. He just makes my heart happy. Yep. Mm-hmm. I said it.
Quirky, weird guy.
I think he's fun. I think he's funny. He's fun. He's lighthearted. I think he's going to be one of our faves to watch. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But just his confessionals alone made me laugh. I was like, oh, TV gold.
And I like that he's willing to go. Like, he's not trying to get Alina to come to America. He's like, no, I'll go to Russia. And she's not. She's okay with it. She's like, come to Russia. I'm not trying to get to America. I like seeing that because sometimes, like, even Brandon and Julia, right? Mm-hmm. Julia was saying sometimes, we get a bad rep because of women like Natalie, who's coming here. Why aren't you going back to the Ukraine? You're staying here. You want to stay in Florida. You want to go date other people. So that's why it makes this process harder for me because of people like you. And this is kind of the opposite where Alina's like, I don't need to come to America. You can keep America. I'm going to stay in Russia. If you want to be with me, you come to Russia.
And they're going to go to Turkey because he can't get into Russia. They can't do the whole visa thing. But what I like about Steven as well, a lot of times on these shows, we see people not really embracing the culture. I feel like he's learned the language. I feel like he's going to really embrace the culture. But I do think that they're going to have a problem because he wants her to convert.
Well, that's also, I learned this when we went to Utah. That's one of the things so when you go on a mission, if you don't actually speak the language, you have to take classes and courses, learning that language before they end up kind of sending you over on your mission. So that's something that you have to have a little bit of knowledge before you end up just going over there.
Well, that's good. See, this is why we need this information.
Where are you, Jason? No, next week, I think I'll be able to steal Jason on with us so he can kind of elaborate on that a little bit. But
yes, please.
In the meantime, All right. So we know who the couples are. We know who we're rooting for. We also know that Kempire has somewhere to be today. So I'm not going to keep all of
But what couples do you think are going to make it and not make it this season?
Corey and Evelyn, I don't think they're going to make it because I think that she really does not want to get married. And like you said, I said, it doesn't seem like she likes this man. She's been able to get over the fact that he was, hanging out with this girl in Peru, but he said that and I hate repeating this, but he told her I couldn't get it up, but she's like, you still put yourself in that situation, very uncomfortable situation. But now he's saying that there's more information to it. She already seems like she has a wall up and trust issues when it comes to him. I think this is going to be what does their relationship, and I don't think it's going to work. So Corey and Evelyn, I'm saying no. Ginny and Sumit, I'm saying no. Oh. I think that's going to come to an end. And I'm not being a pessimist, guys. I'm not glass half empty. I'm just being a realist. Ellie and Victor, I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's potential with Steven and Alina, especially because he's so willing to make this work. I just, there's the barrier of, religion where since he is a devout Mormon, he has to keep that, that's his faith, right? So in order to marry this woman, he needs her to convert to that faith. And that's a big thing to ask of somebody. She has to be very willing to do it. So I'm curious to see if she is, especially coming from a place that she thought the Mormon religion was a cult to begin with. That was what she thought. But maybe they can make this work. I'm rooting for them.
I think he's going to leave the religion.
Yeah. You think he's going to leave the religion?
Yeah.
Okay. And Ariela and Biniyam, I've seen photos of them still on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that they're going to stay together, but also she could have a contractual agreement with TLC that says, do not allude to the fact that you have left Biniyam, because that will be a breach of contract and you're ruining the storyline.
I don't see her staying there though forever. I don't see them together forever.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see them together forever. Now that we've gotten a glimpse of the ex-husband and seeing how strong, not just the way he looks. I think they're both good-looking guys. I'm saying just their connection. Their connection is undeniable. We both saw it, and she's very in it, and she keeps on telling us, there are reasons that we didn't work out. He wanted to become a doctor, and I wanted to travel.
Yeah,
that's not like the end all be all of a relationship. You know what I mean? It's not. He didn't cheat on her. He didn't hit her. He wasn't. From what we know, he wasn't mentally or emotionally abusive or absent.
Best friends.
Yeah. And they're best friends. And to be with somebody for 10 years and still be able to call them your best friend, that's a great relationship. So I'm curious how this is going to play out.
And I think she's still in love with him.
I think she's still in love with him too. So I'm rooting for Biniyam, especially because he's already been suckered out of a relationship once where where his ex-wife went back to her ex and then took their baby. And I think that's really sad. I would hate to see that happen to him twice. I'm rooting for him. I'm keeping I'm open for this relationship.
Yeah.
And then who else is there? We've covered this couple. I'm rooting for them. No. No.
Oh.
No. I'm rooting for you.
Wait, go back. Are you rooting for the couple on the right or the left?
I just need him to tell us what we already know. And I need Evelyn to just be a little bit more kind. But I think that's a lot to ask when she finds out that he probably hooked up with this girl in Peru.
Yeah.
What if he comes back and tells us that she's pregnant?
Shut up. Well, he couldn't get it up, though.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. I'm not buying it. And then we didn't get to see Kenneth and Armando this episode.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what they're going to bring. I love them, their original season. I'm not sure if I need another season of them, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think...
And his Candace tears.
Yeah, I'm curious. It was sad to watch when they were trying to walk around Mexico and they were getting called out of their name. And, there were certain moments. And you also... I feel like especially if you're a gay couple and you're going to different countries and different cultures where it might be even more not accepted, I think that could be very dangerous.
Yeah.
And, he still has his daughter. She loves Kenneth. I'm rooting for them too.
Well, you know what? If they, because, he shared on his Instagram during their original season, what really happened to his ex-wife. If they share a little bit more of that, I think their storyline might be a little bit more interesting because there was a lot more to that story.
Okay. That could be good. All right. So we're open.
Yeah.
We're open. All right.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I'm invested already in this season. I think it's going to be a great season. I hope I'm not eating those words like 3-4 episodes in and like, shit, Kempire, what happened?
I know. I felt the same way, but I have a good feeling just based on how, first of all, the couples, but also I love being abroad. I love seeing these Americans abroad as well. But I have a good feeling. I think they've been taking notes from what we've been saying.
Okay. All right. You're optimistic. You're glass half full. I'm glass half empty. It's great. Good cut back up. I like it. All right. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. We'll definitely be back next week to talk about the next episode of 90 Day. And until next time, today I have a Real Housewives of Potomac recap at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Lene Brody from Hollywood Life. She's a senior reporter and host on Hollywood Life. So we're going to steal about 30 minutes of her time and talk about Potomac and her podcast. I think that's going to be really fun. And then, of course, we have all of our other normal programs. I sound so old when I say that. Normal programs coming our way the rest of the week. So we will be here to talk about them all. If you guys haven't heard it before, I don't know what rock you're living under, but Kempire has a monologue. So here you go.
Nope. I'm just going to remind people that they can see our recent collaboration where we recap the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent content.
Kempire told me I was going on for 20 minutes and then he kept me for 2 hours.
I lied. Oh, okay. Do you guys see the tire marks?
No.
There we go. There we go.
I'm just kidding. No, it was a great conversation. And, like Jason even said at the end, he's like, you never do 2-hour lives. And I said, I know. Kempire kept on saying that. He'll cut me loose on the live. Like, if you got to go, you can go. And I was just in the conversation. You kept me. So
yeah, we always have long conversations. Usually,
yeah, except for when you make an appointment.
Oh, but we covered everything. I appreciate you being so flexible. And shout out to everyone in the chat. Be sure to like the video. We appreciate you guys being here early. Next week, we'll do it a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll do it a little bit later, guys, because this is, I get up at 7 a.m., but I still got to wake up, you know? I need more coffee. I got things.
We still had a good crowd, though. We have a good crowd watching.
We do. And thank you guys for all the mods in here. I appreciate you guys. And again, join us at 12:30 if you guys want to talk Potomac. Thank you, Kempire.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, again, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. You can go show Kempire some love by giving him a follow. And I will see you so very soon. I'm going to go continue to wake up. Bye, guys.